Think Denmark is just flat farmland, cozy cities, and happy cyclists? Think again. Beneath its calm, picture-perfect surface lies a kingdom shaped by ice, fire, and sea. From icy Arctic lands ruled from afar to volcanic cliffs rising straight out of the Atlantic, this small Nordic nation hides some of Europe's wildest natural extremes. In this video, we're uncovering 25 mind-blowing geography facts about Denmark, the kind that prove this peaceful nation is anything but ordinary. Part 1. Denmark's Hidden Arctic Empire. Did you know Denmark secretly rules over two of the wildest, most remote regions on Earth? Far beyond Europe's bike lanes and cobblestone streets lies Greenland and the Faroe Islands, both part of the Danish kingdom. Think about one covered in glaciers and polar bears, the other a volcanic archipelago of cliffs and puffins. Yet both are ruled from cozy Copenhagen. Despite being 3,000 kilometers or 1,864 miles away, they share the same monarchy, currency, and passports. So technically, Denmark isn't just a small Nordic nation. It's a kingdom that stretches across the Arctic. And while Denmark's Arctic reach might impress, wait until you see how a single storm redrew the entire map overnight. Part 2. The sea that redrew Denmark's map. What if one storm were powerful enough to redraw an entire country's map? Well, that's exactly what happened when northern Jutland was accidentally turned into an island. The culprit was the Limfjord, a long, twisting waterway across the top of Jutland. In 1825, a violent North Sea storm burst through Denmark's west coast, connecting the sea to the Limfjord and slicing northern Jutland off from the mainland, turning it into an island overnight. But that storm was only one chapter in a much older story. For thousands of years, Denmark's entire coastline has been carved by the sea, jagged shapes filled with fjords, inlets, and watery highways. These channels didn't just shape the land, they shaped the culture, trade, and identity. So nature didn't just visit, it redesigned it. Up next, meet the lighthouse that refused to die. Part 3. Rubjerg Null, the lighthouse that moved to survive. On Denmark's northwest coast, the Rubjerg Null stands atop a massive dune that never stops moving. Over the decades, this massive sand dune has slowly crept inland, driven by relentless winds and shifting sands. It swallowed roads, fields, and even parts of the Rubjerg Null lighthouse, threatening to tumble it into the North Sea. In 2019, engineers moved the entire 120-year-old tower inland to save it from falling into the North Sea. Proof that in Denmark, even lighthouses have to move to survive, and nature isn't static. The coastline is alive and constantly reshaping itself. And if one dune can move a lighthouse, wait until you see the desert that's moving across the entire country. Part 4. Rabelg Mille, moving desert. Imagine a desert on the march, drifting across a country where deserts aren't even supposed to exist. Meet Rabelg Mille, Northern Europe's largest migrating sand dune, and it's right in the heart of Denmark. It covers about 1 square kilometer, stands up to 40 meters high, and drifts up to 15 meters every year, slowly reshaping the landscape as wind drives it onward. Unlike static dunes elsewhere, Rabelg Mille is alive, restless, and unstoppable, like a slow-motion sand glacier. Tourists flock to climb it, feeling the sand slip beneath their feet as they watch the vast, rolling sea of golden grains. Rabelg Mille isn't just a dune, it's proof that even the ground beneath moves with the wind. But while some dunes wander, others are busy growing the sand itself. Let's head to the coast where the peninsula is quietly stealing territory back from the sea. Part 5. The island that grows every year. Most coastlines are losing ground, but Denmark has one that's fighting back. Welcome to Skellingen, a rare peninsula that nature is actually building, not destroying. Formed after a massive storm in 1634, Skellingen sits on Denmark's west coast, facing the wild North Sea. But instead of being eaten by the waves, it's been quietly expanding, gaining land from the sea over centuries. Wind, tides, and drifting sand constantly push new sediment onto the peninsula, making it larger each year. Scientists say it's one of the few places in Europe still naturally expanding. And if you thought Denmark's surprises ended at its shores, look northwest to where volcanic peaks rise from the Atlantic. Part 6. Volcanic islands at the edge of the world. Far out in the North Atlantic, where fog rolls like ghosts and cliffs rise straight from the sea, lies the Faroe Islands, a cluster of rugged volcanic outcrops that look like another planet. Formed by volcanic eruptions over 50 million years ago, these islands are nature's masterpiece. Raw, untamed, and breathtakingly wild. The landscape here is a mix of sharp peaks, deep fjords, and green slopes that tumble straight into crashing waves. Here, sheep outnumber people, fog drifts in like a slow-moving curtain, and the ocean crashes endlessly below. Though part of the Danish kingdom, the Faroes have their own fierce identity, a reminder that its reach extended to one of the most untamed corners of the Atlantic. And speaking of cliffs, some of Denmark's own are so high and white, they look like walls of a lost world. Part 7. Moons Klint, towering chalk cliffs. What if a country so famous for flat landscapes hid dramatic cliffs that tower over the sea? That's Moons Klint, Denmark's jaw-dropping chalk cliffs rising up to 128 meters or 420 feet above the Baltic Sea. Stretching for 6 kilometers or 3.7 miles along the island of Moons, these cliffs are a striking contrast to the country's gentle plains, where sheer white walls meet deep blue waters. Carved by glaciers and waves over millennia, these cliffs reveal layers of ancient chalk and fossils. Hiking trails, stairways, and viewpoints let visitors feel the cliff's scale up close, while the ocean crashes below in a hypnotic rhythm. It's proof that even the flattest countries can rise up spectacularly. But not all of Denmark's wonders rise. Some vanish and reappear twice a day under the tide. Part 8. Wadden Sea, where the ocean walks away. Imagine walking on the ocean floor. Welcome to the Wadden Sea, Denmark's ever-changing tidal wonder. Stretching along the southwestern coast of Jutland, this UNESCO World Heritage Site is the largest unbroken system of intertidal sand and mudflats in the world, teeming with life and constantly reshaped by the tides. Here, twice a day, the sea literally disappears, revealing vast sandbanks, tidal channels, and mudflats alive with worms, clams, and millions of migratory birds. At low tide, visitors can explore the ocean floor, discovering a living landscape that changes hour by hour. The Wadden Sea is a place where time is measured by tides, not clocks. And from tides to technology, Denmark's winds do more than shape waves. They power an entire nation. Part 9. Denmark produces more wind power than it can use. On the windiest days, Denmark's turbines generate more wind power than it can actually use. With strong coastal winds and flat open terrain, Denmark has strategically planted thousands of wind turbines across its landscape and far out at sea. On particularly windy days, these turbines generate over 100% of the nation's electricity needs. But since electricity can't simply be stored in giant buckets, Denmark often exports its surplus energy via the European grid, like Germany, Norway, and Sweden. In a world that's still struggling with fossil fuels, Denmark faces a very rare problem. It's one of the only countries on Earth that occasionally produces over 100% renewable power. Part 10. The Granite Cliffs of Bornholm. Ever wondered where Denmark's gentle landscape suddenly turned dramatic and rugged? Here, the Helligdomsklipperne cliffs rise sharply along the northern coast of the island of Bornholm. Formed from hard Precambrian rock and sculpted by ice and waves over thousands of years, these jagged walls plunge straight into the Baltic Sea, creating a striking contrast to Denmark's usually flat terrain. Walking along these cliffs, visitors are treated to breathtaking panoramas of the sea, hidden coves, and weathered rock formations. Legends say monks once meditated here in caves carved into the granite, giving the site its name, which translates to Sanctuary Cliffs. Helligdomsklipperne is not just a natural wonder. It's a dramatic reminder that even in the flattest corners of Denmark, nature can rise bold, fierce, and unforgettable, leaving visitors in awe of the island's raw beauty. And while some cliffs endure, others are slowly being devoured by the sea. Part 11. The coastline Denmark is fighting to save. Denmark may be famous for calm waters and clean beaches, but its greatest battle is being fought against the sea itself. With over 7,000 kilometers or 4,350 miles of coastline, it's constantly being rewritten by nature itself. Wind, waves, and rising seas slowly nibble away at its sandy shores, while other areas grow as the sea deposits new land. Entire villages have vanished since the 1400s beneath the waves, while engineers now race to build barriers and restore dunes to protect what remains. This endless tug-of-war between land and ocean makes Denmark one of Europe's most dynamic landscapes, a country literally in motion. But beneath those waves lies another secret, a whole hidden world that most maps never show. Part 12. Chalk cliffs reveal the dawn of dinosaurs. What if the secrets to the age of dinosaurs were hidden not underground, but in towering white cliffs by the sea? Welcome to Moon's Klint, a 6-kilometer or 3.47-mile stretch of chalk cliffs that rise above the Baltic Sea, holding 70 million years of history in their layered walls. Formed from the microscopic shells of ancient sea creatures, these brilliant white cliffs are like pages from Earth's diary during the Cretaceous period, when dinosaurs roamed the planet. Fossils embedded in the chalk reveal everything from ancient sea urchins to the earliest traces of prehistoric life. Visitors can hike the cliff-top paths, descend 497 wooden steps to the beach, and even dig for fossils. Standing here, you're not just at the edge of the sea, you're at the edge of deep time. Part 13. The hidden kingdom beneath the waves. Denmark may look tiny on the map, but most of its realm actually lies underwater. Stretching across the North Sea and Baltic Sea, Denmark's territorial waters cover more than 105,000 square kilometers or 40,540 square miles, almost twice its land area, making the ocean an extension of its identity. These waters aren't just pretty scenery, they're vital highways for trade, fishing, and energy. Beneath the surface lie rich ecosystems and resources that sustain the nation. From Copenhagen's harbors to distant Arctic routes, the sea connects every part of the Danish realm. So while Denmark may seem like a small Scandinavian country, its true footprint is vast and blue. These vast waters haven't just shaped landscapes, they've created strange political stories, like Denmark once shared a border with Germany in the ocean. Part 14. The ocean border that once existed. What if someone said Denmark and Germany once shared a border, not on land, but floating in the ocean? It sounds totally unreal, but that was actually true for almost 90 years. It all centered around Heligoland, a tiny but strategically placed island in the North Sea right off Denmark's west coast. Once part of Denmark, the island was ceded to Britain after the Napoleonic Wars and later traded to Germany in 1890 in exchange for influence in Africa. Because their sea territories overlapped, both nations officially had an ocean border, creating one of Europe's strangest borders. It's a reminder that even calm waters can divide empires. But on another Danish island, the sea doesn't divide people, it builds their homes. Part 15. Seaweed roofs that grew from the ocean. On the island of Læsø, a small Danish island in the Kattegat, traditional homes are topped with thick, golden seaweed thatch. Made from eelgrass harvested along the coast, these roofs are a centuries-old solution perfectly adapted to the island's windy, salty climate, keeping homes warm in winter and cool in summer. The seaweed is carefully harvested from shallow coastal waters and layered to last up to 50 years. Walking through villages like Vestra, visitors are transported back in time. Læsø's roofs are a living tradition where architecture and ocean merge, linking Denmark's past, its people, and the ocean that shapes their lives. Above these roofs, the land tells an even older story, one sculpted by glaciers thousands of years ago. Part 16. the ice age that built Denmark. Ever wondered why Denmark's farmland looks so perfectly green and fertile? The secret lies in ice age glaciers. Thousands of years ago, massive glaciers slowly advanced and retreated across the land, scraping rocks, flattening hills, and leaving behind nutrient-rich soil. This ancient icework is what created Denmark's signature plains, ideal for farming, dotted with gentle hills and dotted with lakes. These glacial leftovers didn't just shape the land, they shaped Danish life. From endless farmlands to winding rivers and lakes that trace ancient meltwater paths, Denmark's peace was born from the power, glaciers that once ruled Europe. But even today, the land hasn't stopped changing. It's still rising slowly, while the ocean never leaves. Part 17. The ground that rises while the sea never leaves. In northern Denmark, the land itself is slowly lifting upward, literally rising millimeter by millimeter due to post-glacial rebound. During the Ice Age, heavy glaciers pushed the crust down, and now, centuries later, the country is slowly springing back up like a released sponge. And yet, even as the land rises, the sea remains close. Denmark is built like a floating kingdom, and you're never more than 50 kilometers or 31 miles from the water. And if you've ever wondered why this northern nation doesn't freeze solid, thank the Caribbean. Part 18. The Gulf Stream that keeps Denmark warm. Why doesn't Denmark freeze over like other northern countries? The secret is in the sea. Flowing all the way from the Caribbean, the Gulf Stream current carries tropical waters across the Atlantic all the way to northern Europe, moderating temperatures along Denmark's coast. Winters stay milder, summers feel pleasantly warm, and the sea keeps the climate surprisingly stable. Because of this watery heat highway, Denmark avoids the extreme cold of its latitude. Farmers, sailors, and city dwellers all benefit from a climate that's forgiving yet dynamic. It's a perfect example of how the ocean, not just the land, defines a country's character, and in Denmark's case, keeps it comfortably mild year-round. But not every part of Denmark follows the Gulf Stream's rules. Bornholm dances to its own climate rhythm. Part 19. The island that defies Denmark's weather. Far out in the Arctic lies Bornholm, Denmark's little weather rebel. While most of the country enjoys the mild, sea-kissed warmth of the Gulf Stream, the island of Bornholm plays by different rules. Bornholm has its own microclimate, cooler summers, clearer skies, and way more sunshine than the rest of Denmark. Because of this split personality, Denmark can feel like two climates in one trip. The contrast shapes everything from farming to local culture. It's a perfect reminder that even in a small country, nature still finds a way to surprise, and sometimes to disagree with itself. Up next, Denmark isn't just one landmass. It's a scattered kingdom of islands. Part 20. The Kingdom of 400 Islands. Denmark is more ocean than earth. It's a nation of over 400 islands, stitched together by sea and sky, each with its own charm and character. From Copenhagen to tiny fishing villages clinging to remote islets, these islands make Denmark feel like a nation scattered across the sea. While only about 70 of these islands are inhabited, they shape the country's culture, transportation, and way of life. Visitors can explore sandy beaches, rugged cliffs, and quaint fishing villages, all within a short distance of each other. Denmark's islands aren't just dots on a map. They're the living, breathing backbone of the kingdom. Where islands and mainland meet, connectivity takes center stage. One bridge ties it all to another nation entirely. Part 21. The bridge that connects two nations. It's more than just a bridge. It's a shortcut between worlds. Spanning the Öresund Strait, the Öresund Bridge links Copenhagen to Malmö, Sweden. Stretching over 16 kilometers or 10 miles, it turns what used to be a long ferry ride into a seamless drive or train trip. More than just concrete and steel, it's a symbol of connectivity, trade, and cultural exchange between the two nations. It offers panoramic views of the sea, islands, and bustling ports. Engineers designed it to handle both road and rail traffic, making it one of Europe's most impressive infrastructural feats. But beyond its structure, the Öresund Bridge is a symbol of unity, a gateway between Scandinavia and Europe. But while bridges connect nations, Denmark's tallest peak barely rises above the horizon. Part 22. The mountain shorter than a skyscraper. Denmark's tallest natural point, Møllehøj, rises just 171 meters or 561 feet above sea level, shorter than some buildings in New York. In a land of gentle hills and endless farmland, even a small rise counts as a summit. And that's no coincidence, because Denmark is one of the flattest countries in all of Europe. The average elevation barely reaches 30 meters or 98 feet, giving the nation an open, almost perfectly ironed look, especially across Jutland and the islands of Zealand and Funen. This flatness does have its perks. Cycling is effortless, farming thrives, and sunsets stretch forever across the horizon. But it also makes Denmark more vulnerable to rising sea levels and floods. Still, the Danes have mastered living with it. And while Denmark may be famously flat on the surface, what lies beneath holds a story as deep and ancient as the Earth itself, setting the stage for one of the planet's oldest geological treasures. Part 23. The oldest rocks in Denmark are older than life itself. Welcome to Bornholm, Denmark's geological time machine. This small Baltic island holds some of the oldest exposed rocks on Earth, dating back over 570 million years. The northern half of Bornholm is made of ancient Precambrian granite, formed long before dinosaurs, plants, or even complex marine life existed. These rugged cliffs and boulders tell the earliest chapter of Earth's story. But take a short trip south, and the landscape completely changes. Here you'll find sandstone and shale from the Cambrian period, around 540 million years old, when the first complex creatures were just starting to crawl on the ocean floor. Bornholm isn't just an island. It's a geological split screen, where every rock is a relic and every cliff is a page in Earth's oldest history book. Part 24. Copenhagen's artificial island of the future. What if a city decided to build its own island from scratch? Right now, Denmark is literally building an artificial island called Lynetteholm, a man-made island rising from the waters east of Copenhagen, a bold, futuristic answer to climate change and urban growth. This ambitious project is set to cover 2.8 square kilometers, or about a mile, to shield the city from rising sea levels while creating space for 35,000 new homes, green parks, and sustainable transport links, including a new metro line and tunnel. It's part flood defense, part eco-neighborhood, a floating fortress of the future. Construction began in 2021, with completion expected around 2070. But the project isn't without controversy. Environmentalists warn of potential damage to marine life and water circulation in the harbor. And deep beneath all this, far below the soil in cities, lies something no one sees: mountains. Part 25. Hidden mountains beneath the earth. What if mountains existed underground? Deep below the Limfjorden region and northern Jutland lie towering salt diapirs, towering up to 5 kilometers deep from ancient Permian salt deposits. Over millions of years, the plastic flow of salt has pushed through layers of sedimentary rock, creating hidden domes that shape the geology above. These subterranean giants aren't just geological wonders. They play a crucial role in the region's hydrocarbon traps and influence the landscape subtly, reminding us that some of Earth's most dramatic structures exist far below our feet, invisible but powerful. So, which of these surprising Danish geography facts blew your mind the most? If you loved uncovering Denmark's hidden islands, shifting coastlines, and icy territories, give this video a thumbs up. For more incredible geography revelations, subscribe to our channel. Don't stop now! Our next video dives even deeper into the unbelievable. Click here to watch it and prepare to be amazed all over again.